We doing anything big for the big 100?
Well, that's 10 sessions away, so no idea. Maybe that'll be. I don't know. It kind of depends on where the things fall. So we'll find out.
I think we should.
I don't know what though. Well, and even I'm recording, but there's also a couple of sessions that I called A and B. So we're already a little bit further along, and then I like a couple of recordings I made like an episode 0.5. So we're a little bit further along in sessions in this game than is implied. But I guess officially for the big 100, yeah, we'll figure out something.
Let's have a party.
We should do a little bit of backstory on everybody.
Sure. Maybe a huge group therapy. And like reflect on what the characters have experienced up until this point, and like a what do I want to call it? A not the middle, but like the and not the climax either, but like the period between those two. Kind of like autopsy of the game, at least the parts that you've experienced so far.
I'm hoping for like an archfey to kidnap us and we all go to like a fanfic world.
AU.
Love that.
Primordial Harmony High School.
Oh, I love it.
No, I hate it. I hate high school animes. That's just
mainly I want to play Tadias as a jock.
That'd be pretty funny. Okay.
Who would Chadicus be?
I think Chadicus is a teacher.
Yeah, he's definitely
Absolutely.
Or
Or
a
the
teacher?
Prince.
Oh, no. Garbage man. Definitely.
the janitor.
Janitor. He's a janitor.
Custodian. Yeah.
Snow is a weird horse girl.
Gina.
A horse girl? How? How is
Like-
Okay, go on.
Horse girls are obsessed with horses.
Uh-huh.
Snow is obsessed with her goddess.
So then Snow would be like an extremely devout Catholic.
Like
I feel
a weird
like
type of girl.
A weird
I
one.
feel like Snow would be that weird emo girl in the corner with
I
the
can see
extra.
that too.
A goth girl. Unironically.
No, not goth, but like emo. I mean, she's not. I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe it is.
Those words, the meanings of those words are kind of mixed up anymore.
Oh no! I will have my daughter come in and talk to you about the difference. It
Well-
takes about 45 minutes to an hour.
We don't have time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Ain't nobody got.
Zachariel would definitely be a jock.
Is that student council girl that everybody hates?
Who always says the announcements?
Absolutely.
Ugh.
And Ren is the lacrosse captain.
The lacrosse captain. Absolutely. Or like a star soccer player. I think I have to keep all this in.
Oh, we're recording. Oh, perfect.
Yeah, we are recording.
Excellent.
I think Bet would be the tomboy.
Along with Ren, for sure.
And Vox, I don't know.
Vox would be like a transient student. They just
Ooh,
kind of
Vox
show up.
Theater
That's
student
not-
that isn't into it. That pretends to be into it because of the shapeshifting and the acting.
Oh yeah, okay.
Theater student who like shows up in school musicals, but nobody's sure if they actually go to the school.
Those always exist too.
They always show up at lunch to hang out with everybody near the lockers, but then it's like nobody sees them in class.
Nobody has classes with them.
Nobody has classes with them. Delia.
Okay, we have to do this now.
Big nerd.
No, Delia is Hum's best friend. The really smart girl that everybody loves.
Oh,
I think that'd be pretty cute.
make sure I'm still recording.
Get it on.
You know. You're listening to session/episode 89 of Primordial Harmony, a retelling of the classic elemental evil story in the D&D multiverse. My name is Michael, I'm running this, and tonight I'm joined by...
Hi, I'm Miles. I'm playing two characters. My first character tonight is going to be Chadicus Winthrop. He's a human druid. My second one is Tadias Adenov, a Aasimar Seeker.
Hey, I'm Nyx. I'm playing Naughty Bite. She's a Tabaxi monk. And then I'm going to be playing Fox, and she's a changeling rogue.
And I am Kitties, and I will start by playing Ren, who is a Goliath barbarian. And then I will transition into the character Hum, who is a gnome bard.
I am Senna, and I'm going to be playing Snow, the elven cleric, and Delia, the gnome wizard.
And unfortunately, Zafin will not be able to join us tonight for reasons unknown currently, but the show must go on. When we last left Gordon's task force, Chadicus, Bit, Ren, Snow, and Vardic, with their ally Stoneflame, with their new mission to find and destroy the source of the embers under Conadir, they begin to head south toward the hills of Haze. Before they exited the area of the forest, Stoneflame stopped for a moment to attempt to break a pipe by excavating it from the earth with his para-elemental magic and smashing it with his maul. Unfortunately, the force of the flames contained within blew and knocked Stoneflame on his ass. Then the pipe resealed itself. Apologetic, Stoneflame gave up on that idea. The party rested on the edge of the forest once tree now ash line. The air much better there. Then continued on, spending the better part of the day walking through the hazy hills. With the guidance of Stoneflame and Vardic, the group found the entrance to the fire temple. Things were eerily quiet as they walked up the hill toward the ruins of Scarlet Moon Hall, and before they could arrive there, a wall of fire exploded from the ground before them, and Ignacio appeared, clearly working to defend the temple from outsiders, truly a member of the fire cult. Words were cut short as two more cultists and several fire elementals appeared, and the fight was on. Ignacio dropping fireballs at his feet, completely immune to the flame, while piercing the immunity of Stoneflame. Things looked dicey, but it was Chadicus who, after parting from melee with a fire elemental, polymorphed Ignacio, too drunk with power to realize he ought to counterspell into a chicken. After a slog of a battle, our heroes win the day. Ignacio, it seemed, knowing that he was outmaneuvered, gave in and made no moves to run or fight after being returned to his normal form. There was some confusion over what to do with him, but Ignacio does offer some information about the goings-on of the cult, including the source of the embers under Conadir, and the fact that a red dragon was now under the temple, which gives the group pause. He also mentions that he knows how to work the elevator that leads down to both the Dragon's Lair, spelled L-A-I-R, and the mysterious level between that and the temple above. The party decides to keep him alive. Chadicus, Snow, and Bit keep an eye on Ignacio as Ren, Vardic, and Stoneflame head below to destroy the furnaces, the source of the piped fire. As they make their way there, Vardic sees the blood-smattered place where his allies fell, causing him to go catatonic. He manages to regain himself after a hug from Ren. The trio destroys the furnaces, competing to see who can destroy them the fastest, as well as honoring the memory of Vardic's fallen comrades. We return to Kythron the 27th, early evening, as Ren, Vardic, and Stoneflame return to the surface with Chadicus, Snow, Bit, and Ignacio.
Oh, and he cast shield. That's why he turned into a chicken. He didn't have a reaction.
Oh.
I waited for him.
Oh, so I'm not stupid then. Thanks for...
No, he cast shield for an attack, and I saw, oh, his reaction's gone. Get him.
No, Justin actually got on me for that. He was like... Well, anyway,
let him know. Yeah.
we will when he gets back. All right, so let me take you to the stage, I guess. We'll call it that, because is that more or less... oh, I have too many pages up right now. Here we go.
All the PCs are just players, you know?
It's true. Right. So, Snow and Chaticus and Bit hear the sound of footfalls as they arrive back. I think we did it, Stoneflame says.
Don't worry, I won this thing. I beat it up best out of everybody.
Well, good job then. So, what was our next move? Are we trying to retreat into the forest until we have a plan to deal with the dragon?
Well, we were waiting to hear from all the peoples. Did we hear from all the peoples?
What is Ren thinking about when she says that the people's...
Well, she knows that Snow sent out sendings.
She did get responses.
Are we waiting for more responses still, or are we just moving on? I guess I'm confused too.
Well, that's something I guess I should have mentioned in the recap. So Snow sent out a two sendings, one to Maeve and one to Gordon, and Gordon was like, don't engage. And then he asked if the wildfire was contained. And then Maeve was like, oh, yeah, so Snow's message was, Ignatius with the cult. He says there's a dragon beneath the ruins. We've kept him alive to work the elevator. Maeve was like, oh, Ignacio is lucky that he's got that utility. And Gordon was like, don't engage the dragon yet. So there was no... You got messages back, but because of the way sending works, you'd have to send more, or you'd have to wait for somebody else to get in contact with you.
Yeah, and I can do a sending one more time.
And I'm kind of interested too. I know that Maeve sent a message saying that she would approach the Order of the Lycan about the dragon. And I would be interested in what happened with that when she approached them and let them know that there was a fire dragon underneath the mountains that are so close to the forest, that to see what the Lycans would want to do about it.
Boy, you know, we say the Lycans, and it makes me think of lycanthropes, but that's not what this is at all. For the audience's sake, a lichen is a fungus. It's
also an order of elves.
It's also a order of forest stewards. But it is actually a biology lesson is that it is a composite organism, which means there's two different things going on. There's a fungus and a bacteria that hangs out with the fungus, and they're mutually beneficial. Anyway, nerd stuff over. Well, I'm looking up something real quick. So Maeve is more or less an NPC now. And I would have talked about this offline, but you guys will find out if there's anything they can say back, not now. It'll come later. If it does. Or if you reach out again.
So do we bring Ignacio to Lycans, or do we bring him to Gordon?
Ignacio chuckles and says, if you bring me to those Ford Stewarts, they would surely kill me. Especially if you tell them what I've done.
I am not so interested in what you have to say. I am talking to my friends. I am sorry.
He just kind of raises his eyebrows and shrugs and then just kind of sits in the dirt.
Gordon might know better what we should do with him.
I am thinking you're right, Miss Snow.
I will send another sending to you, Gordon.
Bardic stands around awkwardly, waiting for direction.
Give me a minute. I'm gonna send another sending to Gordon.
Yee.
So I need to write it down.
As Snow thinks about the words, Stoneflame walks over to here, and you see that he takes his maw and he starts churning up the dirt. And it looks like he's digging with his hands. And he does this for a little bit because he doesn't have the right tool.
What are you doing, Stoneflame?
He looks back. Then he gestures to these guys. And he says, I was going to bury them.
Oh, I could help you with that.
Oh, thank you. I was thinking about throwing them in the fire over there, but then I thought, well, they might like that. And they have not earned a proper Goliath burial.
You are very correct. I'm thinking, do we put out these fires too?
Oh, that's a good idea. I can actually do that.
'Cause, look at the woods. Everything is so charred around here.
He walks over here and he starts scooping ash onto...
Ren is kind of keeping her eye on Ignacio because she wants to make sure that bad things don't happen while she's not looking. Maybe I should stay with the other guys. What do you think?
He looks back. Sure. I will start scooping dirt onto the fires. And he just hums. He just starts doing that. This is literally what I'm going to do while you think about your sending. The steam of the fire.
Sorry, were these good guys or bad guys?
Those were cultists.
They were very bad guys.
Okay.
They hurt us a lot.
They're the explodey guys. They're the same enemy type that almost killed your elf character. Why am I forgetting her name? Illyria, yeah.
Ooh.
When they exploded.
Alright, so this is what I've got so far.
Is that what you're sending?
If that's good with everyone else.
Snow says that out loud.
I think
Communicate.
that is a pretty good message.
It's been proofreaded. I think you're proper to send it.
Okay, I will send that to Gordon.
Alright. I'm typing up now. You can tell that Gordon's taking some time to be economical with his words.
So I did cast it at a 4th level. Does that give him extra words to send back to you?
Oh. I think so, yeah. I think I'll extend it to that. Let's see. Okay. Gordon responds, saying, there are other pressing threats to the region and Forstride. If you can find out what the dragon plans to do, make a judgment based on that. I trust you. Oh, I did it from the camera. Oops. Oh well.
I will relay that to my party members.
What the dragon plans to do, Ignacio says.
What does that dragon plan on doing?
He chuckles. Well, to tell you the truth, it seems he's more interested in being left alone than anything else. I spent some time with him and he seemed more happy to swim in his little lava pool than wreak havoc.
So besides blind fanaticism, for what reason is the cult attacking the forest?
He looks up at the sort of gray, smoky, hazy sky, and he says, "They mentioned something about preparing the world for Imix's return. I think that they simply mean to burn as much as they can as a way of impressing him when they bring him to the material plane."
Seems appropriate for their patron. But that does leave some questions to what we are supposed to be doing.
I am very confused right now. So the dragon doesn't want to hurt the people. He wants to swim in lava. But we keeping you alive because you know how to make an elevator go up and down?
Yes. He says this is he gets a flash of panic in his eyes.
It seems pretty flimsy if you ask me. But I trust Mrs. Snow and Mr. Chadicus.
Well, I suppose our efforts are best spent making certain that the forest is safe. That is what we were sent here to do. So, if the fires down there are resolved, and we can find ways back into the temple where the pipes lead to, is that how I'm explaining it right, Vardic?
He says, well, what we did was we went into the temple and we destroyed the furnaces that were piping the embers under the forest, and I think he looks to Stoneflame and Ren and then Ignacio and says, bringing the trees to life but also burning.
Excellent. So if that is taken care of, then the only danger is the remaining cult.
Mm-hmm.
And it was empty down there, Stoneflame says. I didn't see anyone walking around like usual. Nobody.
We walked in, we smashed the furnaces, and walked out. We never saw one person.
Did they show any signs of
really
leaving?
Stoneflame chuckles and says, well, almost everyone in there we ended up killing because they came and attacked us all at once.
Oh, so they've already been dealt with.
At least those that were in the those that were in the cult, or those that were in the complex there at least. And he scratches his head. I don't know. There could be more.
Do you think there are more fires burning on the front lines?
Stoneflame shrugs. And he
We
looks.
really smashed those furnaces, Mrs. Snow. They were broken beyond repair, and those were where the pipes were.
Didn't that elf man say to contact him once we get rid of the source?
That is right, the cute little gnome guy.
He was a gnome? He was tall for a gnome. I thought he was an elf.
Oh, I'm confused.
There was someone who wanted me to communicate to them once we dealt with this issue.
Chadicus will remember his name was Elquinus.
Maybe we should send him a message.
If we believe everything's been resolved, I don't like to give people news that is untrue.
I mean, we
Ignacio
say
says-
smashed the furnaces.
Ignacio says, as far as I know, Once those furnaces have been destroyed, they cannot operate. And the fire elementals that used to power them joined together to form the one you fought just a few minutes ago.
Then I'd say our quest here is finished, unless I'm missing something.
Ignacio just heaves a sigh. A very defeated sigh.
I cannot use sending again until we've rested a bit.
I could send an animal messenger. It should be no problem. I guess I'm just do a ritual cast of this right about because I have met this person, so I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what creepy little animal I can find here that looks all covered in spores and stuff, but
boy, it's actually going to be kind of difficult to find an animal around here.
What about a lizard in one of the rocks?
Ooh. Give me a survival check.
yeah. What's
And this is mostly a flavor survival check. We're just going to see how long it takes. Okay, so not too long. Amongst the rubble, you do find a very squirmy lizard. And I like to think that Chaticus kind of gets close to the animal without giving them a reason to scurry away as they do the ritual.
Yep, I'll just kind of like almost whisper to him for a little bit, and I get to write a phrase, I believe.
Do you use a component? Because it says a morsel of food as the component, or do you use a focus?
I think he has a focus because he doesn't want to carry a bunch of crap around.
Okay.
Just knowing him and being practical, pragmatic about everything. Let's see. Speaking message up to 25 words. Well, I don't think Chaticus is going to be very wordy. He's going to be like, fires are settled. If you have further inquiries, contact me back.
All right. Let's see here. Specify the location or a recipient, or location and a recipient. Let's see. Where's the location you're familiar with?
I'm going to say that clearing that we met him at.
Okay.
That's my best chance because I don't think I've been anywhere else that he'd be.
All right.
It'll scurry away.
Yeah, the lizard scoots up to your druidic focus, which is what your staff club thing,
Mm-hmm.
and just pokes his nose at it, and then the lizard's eyes go wide, and it just quickly scurries. 25 miles, huh?
We'll see, right?
We'll see. And yeah, he scurries off.
Well, hopefully he gets my message. Otherwise, I think it's been a well-fought day. Probably good to settle down, find a place to rest.
Bardic says, "Not here, please."
Well, certainly not here.
What are we gonna do about this guy?
Oh, he's coming with us.
"Should we tie him up?" says Stoneflame.
If he runs, I'll end him.
Well, we should tie his hands together and maybe tie something over that really smart mouth.
He has confessed that he would help us and that he has vested interest in helping us to, procure the safety of his lover. And I believe him. If he runs, he knows what will happen to him, so this is his only opportunity and his only chance. I feel he's pretty forced to be coercive.
You just see another heaved sigh from Ignacio as he keeps his mouth shut.
Okay, I trust you, Mr. Chaticus.
Y'all didn't see my roll.
So there's an unfortunate, not unfortunate, but I have a very potent missed opportunity that I want to try to rectify. So Vardic, nearby, Vardic actually says, "Before we go," and you see him starting to walk in this direction, and he I have Fog of War on. That's interesting. I thought I didn't. He starts walking away, and I'm gonna turn it off now. I don't need it on anymore. Oh, now it's just dark. Global illumination. Okay. He just starts walking off in that direction, and then you see that somewhere over here, there's a Karen, and he kneels down. And Stoneflame goes, "Oh, right. This is where we buried his clan." Are you saying stuff, Miles?
No, I'm just walking in a circle for fun.
Okay. Well, he does that, and then eventually he comes back. If nobody goes to join him, he comes back.
Snow will go and stand next to him and say a small prayer.
He was not with us though when he did that, right? He was with Excavators.
Yeah, this was after you guys left the Fire Temple, and right before Gordon sent the sending that shit's going tits up with Knowles. You guys did a little burial, and then Vardic actually. This is when we had introduced Vardic the first time, and we had him collect scraps of metal and all that stuff.
Mr. Vardic, what is going on here?
Remembering, he says, looking at this Karen.
This is your people's.
Yes.
It's very hard to lose peoples. I'm very sorry you've lost your people.
He turns and looks at Ren, and he's got this. He's got that expression that there's a lot of pain on his face, but it's also that thank you for standing by expression.
She puts her hand on his shoulder for solidarity, just that kind of supportive touch.
Yeah. I'm not exactly sure how Vardic would react to that, so he'd react somehow. Either he stays put or something, but yeah. He just stands there for a while and then eventually returns. "Let's be away from here," he says.
Let's go.
Gathering up, Ignacio puts his hands behind his back, like clasps his hands behind his back as a show of, "Hey, I'm not doing shit." And suppose we should start toward the forest, just in case we hear back from them, says Vardic.
Seems an optimal strategy.
You guys make it. You get a couple miles under your feet, and the place, this area is eerily quiet, and it's not hard to imagine why, as there's not many game animals that can live in this extremely dry climate. You see bugs here and there, but no rabbits, no squirrels, no birds.
No boars? The boars are not here?
Not that you are seeing. But you make it a few miles, and you get that feeling of since you guys have traveled so much, there's a rhythm. There's a rhythm with the the how many miles you can travel in a day before your body starts talking to you and saying you need to rest or else we're gonna get super fucked up. And Vardic sets down after a while. Okay. And I'll just narrate that you guys find a suitable place for camp and pass the night. And I'm going to advance the calendar if no one wants to play out a scene in the evening.
I think I'm good.
I'm good.
All right.
Yeah.
Rations for dinner, or maybe some game, some like lizard game that Chadicus can find. Maybe it's a very tense evening because of Ignacio's presence. Not many words.
It's definitely a ration night tonight.
It is a ration night tonight as we enter GTF to the 28th. Which, from an outsider, or from the audience member's perspective, is also the day that the Excavators ventured into the Earth Cult lair. Morning comes, and still under the gray overcast, you begin making your way north. A few hours into the day, we have advanced to the next day. It is now the 28th. Take a long rest. Do your long rest stuff.
Mike, I'm gonna change up some of my prepared spells.
Okie dokie.
I believe in me doing the same.
I trust your. I trust that your spell preparation is above board.
I'm going to be right back.
All right. I will do Vardic real quick, his long rest. D&D Beyond has a little long rest button. I wish I could do that here, but eh.
And I'm gonna cast my armor.
Your little layer of frost covers and coats snow, and it's a refreshing comfort against the heat of the summer here.
Built-in AC.
Air conditioning.
Yes.
I was about to. My brain went to rule lawyer mode, and I was like, "Wait a minute, no, that's not what's going on here." Let's see.
I'm back.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know, right?
Something I didn't actually think about. Oh. Well, it lasts until they have to make a save.
Okay. So if I was to do that to someone this morning, then it will last until the first battle and they had to make a save?
Yep, or get attacked.
Oh, nice to know.
Yeah. Are you guys good?
Yep.
Alright. So, morning of Kythron the 28th, as you pack up your gear and silently begin heading towards, if not the forest, at least the cut-across pathway here. A couple hours into your trek. Who is walking alongside Ignacio?
Ren has definitely had her eye on him the whole time. So she's walking right behind him.
Would anyone else like to describe the sort of locational relevance, the relevant location, the relative location to Ignacio?
Snow is far away from him.
I'm probably close to Ren.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say it's beside Ren.
Are you in front or behind him, Chadicus?
Is Ren behind or in front of him?
I'm walking right behind him, like within arm's reach. So if he tries to run, she'll grab him by the top of his head.
I'll be a little bit behind her then.
Okay. Okay. What about Snow? She's far away, but like, is she in front of or behind Ignacio?
In front of.
So
I feel like Ren would have talked to Stoneflame and said, "You should be in front of him because you are fireproof." But I am going to stand behind him and smush his head if he tries to run.
okay. I am not exactly immune to his fire, though. He actually hurt me a bit, which is a little bit concerning. But I'm still slightly immune to him.
What about Bardic?
Vardic is gonna be adjacent to him. He's feeling like he's trying to keep a shell around him, so he's just gonna stay close. A few hours into the day, as you keep heading northward, the haze is actually starting to thin out a little bit. A little bit of fresh air enters your lungs. There is a flash of bright red light, and Ignacio falters. His knees buckle. I think Ren probably runs into him a little bit. You all feel a thrum of some kind of force coming from the gem in his forehead, and it sort of debilitates you for a moment, like you're hit with this energy, and it's all you can do to keep standing. And then Ignacio begins to sweat. Like you can see beads of sweat unnervingly, unnaturally appearing on his skin. And he says, "Hot, hot, I am living flame, why, hot?" And you hear the rip of clothing as he tears his cloak off and he throws it aside. And then he grunts as he holds his forehead and starts shaking. And then his arms drop to his sides, and you hear a voice from the gem. "Ignacio, you have failed me. You give in to your comrades far too easily. Your life belongs to the eternal flame. Your life belongs to me. And now you will serve Imix and move at his will, at my will, for you are not but a tool." The flames that seem to be coming from behind the gem appear to leak from its place on Ignacio's forehead. And he throws his head back, and he lets out a pain scream and the force of it sort of knocks you guys back, a couple feet, not significantly for the purposes of spacing, but the flames engulf his body, and you watch as Ignacio's body disappears as the inferno grows. It's starting to actually take up your space now.
Can I try to dispel whatever magic's happening in the gem? I was trying to give you your scene, but if it's actually getting close to me.
Oh yeah, it's starting to expand, his size category is changing from medium to bigger.
Yeah, when that starts happening, I'd like to try to dispel whatever magic's happening there.
Yeah. Okay, so a thing happens when you try that. Let's see.
I'll lose the spell, so regardless, I'll just mark that.
Sure. Oh crap! Where'd he go? Oh, here it is. Let's see. So you access, thinking quickly, you access your reserves of druidic magic, and you start making the motions involved with the spell magic. But it feels like there's, in your mind's eye, you can see yourself sort of being blocked off. I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Neat.
Okay, you succeed. So you're going to take half of this. However, you still are going to need to make an ability check with your Wiz mod. Okay. You recognize that is not enough, as the magic going on, as your mind burns, you hit a wall with dispel magic. And what level slot did you use?
Oh, I just used third.
Okay, certainly not enough, as your attempt to disrupt this arcane event is just completely blocked off, and you can feel the flames growing closer, and I would assume that you move back so you're not engulfed by them.
Everyone back away. As Shadowgus kind of just runs and finds the thickest tree nearby.
It's
find cover behind.
It's quite empty out here as you do that. Ignacio's body disappears as the inferno grows. Hot and pained, it resolves into a vaguely humanoid shape, with the gem fully visible in the head, with an oval spot, black as pitch, in the center. And it raises its arms. Roll initiative. And also put yourselves where it makes sense for you to be.
Mike, how tall is this thing?
It big. Probably 15 feet tall.
And who's this cute little guy down here?
Oh, something I probably forgot to take off the map from a different fight. Yep. And I gotta roll for 5 million different NPCs now. Not NPCs, but
Maybe just do 4 million.
Tee.
You can probably kill us with just 1 million, honestly.
Mr. Stoneflame.
Yes.
Mr. Stoneflame.
Bump, bump, bump.
Flame me a stone. Let's see. Initiative for Stoneflame. Initiative for big guy.
I knew we should have killed him.
My thoughts exactly.
I think it would have been the same story.
All right. And then I'm gonna do that. this track is. We're gonna find out together. Oh, okay.
Sorry, one sec. Be right back.
All right. Okay. Oh. Bit rolls first, but then Nyx has to BRB.
I should roll initiative.
All right. Chaticus, go ahead and take your turn.
Okay.
Okay, back.
Never mind. It's Bit's turn.
Okay. Let's send off some sunbolts.
All right. That's a hit. Mm-hmm. That's a hit. Is it not loading the damage? 7 radiance. It quickly reacts and sends a couple of sunbolts toward the creature, and the radiant energy kind of has a dissonance effect with the fire. You have more attacks. Something has grabbed her attention.
Yes, sorry.
Are you gonna finish your turn, or should I move on?
Nope, no. Well, let's go up and give him a punch.
Okay. Okay, that hits. And it hurts you. You take this much fire damage, and you are now on fire. But you do hurt him a little bit with your magic paw. For 10 bludgeoning, alright? The mechanics on that is you're going to take 1d6 fire damage at the start of your turns as your fur catches fire. Is there anything else you'd like to do?
Yeah, pour water on myself.
Well, you're out of actions. Are you doing anything with your bonus?
I can get away, can't I?
You can move. Yeah. You could spend a key point for Step of the Wind if you want to disengage.
Yeah, let's do that.
Alright. It sends a radiant sunbolt and then walks up to him and punches the fire and then realizes it hurts and swiftly moves away.
But there.
Okay. Chaticus, take your turn.
Okay. From the safety of this rock, I will cast spell. I got
What level
rock
spell?
remain. We're gonna do a 4th level.
Alright, roll a wisdom saving throw as you feel your mind light on fire. You save. Alright. What is your spell?
I was gonna cast confusion.
Okay.
I think he is the 10-foot radius.
Creature in he is the 10-foot radius. Let's see. Wisdom saving throw. Alright. He the magic happens, and oh, by the way, you take half of this. You take half of that. And that happens before the spell goes off, so it doesn't make you roll a con check.
Got it.
Alright. Let me roll his whiz save. That's not gonna do it. So what happens here? Each would take reactions and must roll a d10 at the start of its turn to determine its behavior. Okay. Alright. You keep track of that. Vardic.
Yeah,
Vardic's... I think Vardic will just say, "This is the first time I fought living fire." And he walks up. And he just starts taking slashes. 1 and 2. So he's gonna take this much fire damage. And then he deals this much slashing damage. 18. Nope, 28. Alright. His turn comes. Needs to roll a d10.
I can roll for it if you want me to.
Go ahead and roll then. What does that
7
mean?
creature uses his action, makes a melee attack against a randomly determined creature within its reach. So Vardic's on one in his reach.
Vardic is within his reach.
And he's not going to be moving, so he just attacks and stands there.
Yep. 24 to hit for 13 fire. Vardic's still on fire, so that doesn't really change anything for him. So I will remove that damage as Vardic starts being the tank that he is. It is now Ren's turn.
Okay, Ren is going to do something really strange. She does not run into the fight right away. She turns to Chatagus and picks him up and just hugs him with all her might.
No. Also, yeah, he needs another wisdom saving throw, I believe.
Yep.
Oh, there it was, yeah.
And then she looks at him and she says, "This is the only protection I can offer you." And she runs towards the fire and she takes her bonus to... Oh, I guess she can't use Momentum Strike because she didn't use her attack.
Nope.
And she puts herself in front of Chatakus so he doesn't get hit.
Alright. So, does Confusion do anything for legendary actions?
I don't believe it says anything about that. It says at the start of their turn. I can check.
Well, this makes sense in a little bit what's about to happen because he has no control, and this kind of goes in line with that. So I need Vardic, Ren, Bit, and Snow to make dexterity saving throws as it looks like he explodes as a circular wall of flame just erupts from him and spreads out, engulfing everyone I just named. Everyone except Chatakus, basically. As you hear this scream come from him. Oh, Danger Sense. Come on, Stoneflame. The saving DC is 17. Oh, yep. Ow. So he's going to take half of this. And, yeah, there you go. It's 21 damage, half on a miss, or half on a save. And that's the legendary action. It is Snow's turn.
Okay. I'm gonna cast Guiding Bolt.
Alright, at what level?
Second.
Second, roll a wisdom saving throw. You do not save. You expend the spell slot, and you take 3d8 fire damage. As the spell turns to ash in your mind. It seems like this the arcane power you're channeling that is granted to you by your goddess is catching from the aura of this creature. Is there anything else you'd like to do with your turn?
Nope.
Alright. For added flavor, when Snow goes to cast a spell, she sees the little gem with the black center thrum, and it just throws her off balance and lights her mind on fire. Stoneflame is going to... fuck. And he comes up and starts hailing onto this guy. As much as he can. One. Ooh. He hits one and misses with the other, dealing 11 bludgeoning as he gets some fire back in his face. Half of this for one. Alright, Bit. Top of the round.
Okay, so she's on fire.
Yeah, you take 1d6 fire damage, unless you take, and you will next turn too, unless you take an action to douse it.
Yeah, I'm dosing it.
Okay, that is your turn. Any movement?
I'm just gonna back up a little bit more.
Alright. Shadicus.
I'm gonna use this opportunity to use my action and do the mushroom wild shape.
Okay.
So give me that 10 hit points and stuff.
Alrighty.
And then I'm gonna move just a little bit closer to...
Okie dokes.
How do you turn?
Vardic will go, and he is going to take this much fire damage. And then he is going to keep swinging. 1 and 2. He hits with both. And he's going to take more hurt as you see flames licking up the blade and striking at him as he groans in pain. And you can see that burns are growing up, or are starting to like form up his body as he cries out, and bright light lights off of his flame and travels up to the gem, and you can see it like attempt to assault it, this holy light that comes from him. And I'll roll his divine smite for him. Where are you? Where do you have this, Justin? Oh, here you go. Wow. For 4 radiant damage. Oh, better than nothing. Alright. It is going to be the elemental's turn. Can you roll me that d10, please?
I can. Also, as a reaction when he starts his turn, I'd like him to make a con save.
Con save. What is he subject to with this con save?
It's the poison thing, the spores, when he's starting his turn within 10 feet of me.
Got it. He's immune to poison damage.
I think it's necrotic damage. Let me check.
Oh yeah, double check.
Use your action to deal 1d4 necrotic. At my level, it would be a d6, so 2d6.
Alright, then is that. So con save for that? 7.
That'll fail. Let's roll this thing. D8, actually. So he'll take 8 damage.
8 damage.
I rolled a 1 on the confusion. I think that's a do-nothing one.
Yes. On a 1. Creature... On behavior 1, the creature uses all of its movement to move in a random direction. Roll a d8 for me, and we're going to do it clockwise, starting at noon. So he's moving this way. Okay. Well, then Vardic, Snow, and Ren. Oh shit. You guys...
I'm
the
gonna
opportunity
use my
attacks, right?
reaction to...
To try to stop him here?
Yeah.
Alright. Go ahead and roll. That hits. So the... What does this look like? How does she stop him? How does she stop this massive fire creature from moving any further?
It's a good question.
What does it look like?
Is the fire creature like, is it bipedal?
Yeah, it's vaguely humanoid. Like it sort of goes between having like a ghost tail and legs. It can't seem to decide which to manifest as.
I imagine she brings ice in with like a low sweep with like snowflakes and like ice particles coming off of it.
And when she strikes the elemental, there is a layer of ice that sort of stops it in its tracks, and in utter confusion, it just doesn't know. It doesn't know what it's doing, so it stops in place as the ice melts and then eventually turns to steam. And now it's Ren's turn.
Ren screams out and begins rage.
All right,
Do another save.
another save. Appreciate that. Nope.
And she runs forward and just starts swinging her battle axe at this thing.
Alrighty. You're in its space. Okay, so 28 does hit. And Ren is going to take this much fire damage. The other two miss. And Ren is also on fire as the flames lick up her great axe and catch on her hair. Anything else, Ren?
That is it.
Alright, let me do that damage. 11. Alright. You can tell that the flames are growing weaker as you lay into this creature that was once Ignacio. Snow, it is your turn.
Okay, we're gonna go back to slicing with ice.
Alright. That's a hit. For 9. And, okay, so 12 damage.
And then
And you take some damage as you are within 5 feet of him. 19 hits. Ooh. As the flame licks Snow's hand and scalds it severely. But you do damage it more. 8. As you can tell it's getting weaker. Stoneflame follows Ren's lead and cries out. His tattoos glow as he channels his own rage and moves over to here and says nothing. He just screams as he slams in with his maul. 1 and 2. Oh, he has advantage right now. 1, 2. He misses with 1, but then he catches him with the other, dealing 9 bludgeoning damage. That's unfortunate for him, but that's it. Bit, it's your turn. You're not on fire anymore.
She is staying away from him and gonna throw some darts.
Okay. Mundane darts. Oh wait, no, they're a monk weapon. Never mind. Or wait, how does that work? 11 misses.
I can throw 2 darts, right?
You can. 18 hits. As the dart approaches, you see that it just kind of burns in its system. Maybe carving away some flame, but not much. And at the end of your turn, Bit, the creature, the gem glows bright and releases another gnarly fireball out of its own self. And I need everybody in the radius, except for Bit, because you're halfway out of it, to make dexterity saving throws. I rolled really low. So 17, half on a fail. Or half on a success. Stoneflame, let's see if Stoneflame does it.
I'm unconscious.
Danger sets. He does not save. So he takes half of 17. You see Snow get put down once again by this fire. Once again by Ignacio's fire. What's 17 divided by 8? There we go. Alright. Account for damages. Oh, I need to account for Bardic. Nope. 17 to Bardic. He turns to Snow. Snow! Chadicus, it's your turn. Accidentally went over your turn, but it's your turn, Chadicus.
Oh, that works. I'm gonna do this lad.
Roll a wisdom saving throw.
I will do so. That's a level 5, by the way.
Okay. It still needs a saving throw.
Oh, I thought it was based on how much the spell slot levels, how much damage or something. That's why.
It is based on the level.
So that's why I was like, here, 5. Hit me with 5 dice.
No. But you save, so you get the spell off, and you only take half of this. 10. Roll your concentration check. He's no longer confused. Not Snow, Vardic. Vardic looks to the side and says, Snow! And he walks over, and he's going to absolutely heal her, even though she's on the ground and had received healing. That goes for everybody, so what is that? 18 health. I'm going to give that to Vardic real quick.
Yeah, I think I can hit bit as well, so I think everybody gets the 18.
And he is going to dump 30 lay on hands to Snow, touching her arm gingerly. And that is his action, and I think that's his turn. Okay. The sorceress fire elemental, once known as Ignacio, it is their turn as...
Can they make a con save for me real quick as they start their turn?
Sure. How close do they have to be?
10 feet.
He's more far away than 10 feet.
Well, you said that this was his square.
Oh, you're right. Okay, that's fine. Okay, then let me do that.
How much healing was it, Mike?
30 from Vardic.
Whoa.
Lay on hands. Con save. Nope.
Roll it. 6 damage.
6 damage. Alright. Sorceress Fire Elemental is going to... You watch as... Let's see, what does it do? It is going to do 3 things. It is going to first raise a hand toward Ren and Chadicus, and I need the 2 of you to roll dexterity saving throws. Half on a success, 10 fire damage. Then it turns to Vardic and attempts to slam him with his fiery thing for 17, which actually misses. And then the Sorcerer's Fire Elemental looks at Bit, and then looks at Snow, looks at Bit, and you see just a hint of recognition as it looks to Snow. And instead of doing the optimal thing, goes for Bit. 15 misses. What's Bit's AC? More than 15, right? Yeah.
Yeah, 16.
Alright. And that's his turn. Ren.
Question: does she have to put out the fire on her? I mean, she's in a
Nope.
rage.
Nope, she does not. She does take the damage, but she does not have to. He just takes 5 fire damage.
She does not put herself out. She is raging and just swinging away at him.
Alright. 16 hits, 11 misses, 23 hits for 14, and math is hard. 11.
11.
Alright. Ren, not caring for her current burning slams in with her great axe and hits just the weak spot of this fire elemental that was once Ignacio, and the creature dissolves, and you hear a shatter as the gem within its head breaks and crumbles as they disappear outright. And you're out of initiative.
She pulls out her water bottle and just dumps it over her head. And she screams, "He burned my hair!"
Is there any semblance of a body or ashes or anything?
There's his cloak, which I'll say is right over here.
I'll go pick it up and inspect it, see if there's anything on it important.
Inside, you find a note. And the contents of which GTF will learn of in our story next time. As we'll take a break now and we'll move to Excavators.
Neat.
So get yourselves into character that way, and as you get a drink or go to the bathroom and all that good stuff.
I should literally...
When last we left, the Excavators. Exiting the Earth Cult's lair are Delia, Hum, Tadias, Vox, and Zachriel, with the freed prisoners from Galtona, Deirdre, Walgreda, and Gurvor. Along with them are Orna, the deserter from the cult, and Rokomoth Glitterstone, the Deep Gnome, son of the mortal disciple of Sunis. Rook points at several ways to go, one of which being a corridor up to the surface where the giant pit of silted sand and mud rests between the peaks of the Mastrig Mountains. Gurvor petitions the party to escort them back to the surface so that he and his companions may return home. So the party does just that, and at the exit, sure enough, they can see the massive pit of mud. The rescuees, with a final thank you, leave the Excavators to return to their home to the north. But before they get too far, Hum goes to Derde to give her a few more words of encouragement after her ordeal. The Excavators spend a few minutes up here, with Hum and Tadias giving Zachriel some ribbing over his arm being bitten off and its regrowth. But then out of the ground beneath Hum burrows up Lucy the Bulette, who sparks a whole new debate of what to do with her. It doesn't seem like she's going anywhere, so they hike back down to the tunnel complex to return to Orboro. As Zachriel and Sunis, in the spade, work to free the corrupted earth elementals in the carts stolen by the Earth Cult, Tadias identifies an object reads Ironfang, the war pick used by Marlos, the weapon of the Earth Cult prophet. They learn of its inherent evil being made out of a piece of the evil Earth Archnomental Ogremok, and how it corrupts those that attune to it. They also learn that this implement was given to Marlos by a creature with white scales at a sort of underground ziggurat. They also learn that this is where the weapon would have been teleported to if Hum hadn't dispelled the magic causing that. They also notice that the spell itself only slowed the process by which the weapon would be called back. Rook offers some insight as that place seems familiar to him, a place that exists beneath the layers of the elemental cults. They hop on the carts powered by these elementals, that Solid Stride conditioned with kindness to enjoy driving, and went back the way they came. When they arrived back under the Sacred Stone Monastery, Lucy used her burrowing ability to dig a tunnel for the earth carts to be driven back to the surface. The Excavators return to Orboro, and while the guards are concerned, Renwick is tickled by the presence of a Boulette under their command. It is the evening of Kythron the 28th. You all begin advancing into Orboro on the earth carts, the sun low in the sky. It is early evening, as I've said. Renwick comes down from the tower and looks towards Delia and Hum. Were you successful?
Oh, yeah, we were successful. Did you see my new friend? Her name is Lucy.
He looks at Lucy and then strokes his chin. And again, Renwick is in disguise. So he has a human guise upon himself. And he thinks for a moment. And he yells and with his fist hits Lucy's head and says, "Who's a good girl?" And Lucy goes, "Ah!" As you're watching this, you feel a breeze at your back, and then the presence of the chimes on your person. You just sort of feel that sort of touch from Chan.
She just kind of takes it in and says, I can feel you here.
What do you do?
I take out the chimes. They've been tucked in my bra for a while. They're a little sweaty, a little dirty.
What is Tadias? What's Tadias's game here? What's he doing?
I don't know. I mean,
It is the end of a long day. Very long day.
I mean, all the emotions, all the fighting, everything else. I happen to know that this town does have a tavern, so I'm probably meandering that way.
Tadias, says Renwick.
Yes,
First round is on me.
you're the best.
Hey, Renwick, where do you think I should put this girl? I mean,
He turns.
Bullet.
That is a good question. He says, looking at Lucy. We'll probably need to have a chat with the town guard.
And we need to keep her away from their oars. She really likes those metal oars.
He leans toward Hum and says, "Whatever you do, do not mention the warehouse to her, or point in that direction." And then he looks to... Oh, sorry, go on.
Sure thing. I don't know that she understands, but sure thing.
To remind kiddies, A here is the warehouse where they keep most of their mined goods. He looks to Renwick, looks to Delia, and says, "And how do you fare?"
Well, I'm a little beat up, a little out of magic, but otherwise okay.
Well, you must... Please tell me what you saw. Where did you go? What did you do? He says, "Come, why don't we... It's been a while since I've invited someone to a tavern, but why don't we have a seat in the tavern?"
That sounds good.
And then guard kind of walks up and says, you need to, oh, yes. He looks around. Mike's actually going to look up the little guide I made for Orboro.
I think B is the tavern.
He is the tavern. He says, well, perhaps we can sit on the tavern's patio, and he shrugs a bit. There is no patio, but there is an area outside that might be good, and you can spend some time with your new friend here while we go over what happened.
Sounds like a good idea. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with her here.
She seems to have an affinity for you.
It's only because I helped her get unchained.
Bullets typically don't have loyalties, but it seems that wherever you got her from has made her disposition to that. You'll have to tell me what happened.
Well, we found her chained up in a cultist lair.
And what else happened as he enters the tavern? And Zachriel grumbles the entire time and just walks in, sits next to Tadias.
He is such a grumpy puss.
He looks back and he says, "Look, all I'm saying is that..." He looks at Renwick and he says, "One of them teared off my arm." And then Renwick looks a little bit surprised at that, and he looks at Zachriel and he looks at Delia and Hum and says that he still has both of his arms.
It grew back. I mean, come on. I don't know what the problem is.
He looks to Delia and he says, "I'm very interested in what you've done down there. Over there."
Well, there was his arm getting ripped off, and then there was also this, like, dragon lady that talked to us in our minds.
She was beautiful.
He says, "You saw a gemstone dragon?"
Yes, her name was Miladiris.
She talked to us about doing something, getting her knowledge.
What color or what gemstone was she?
She was
Amethyst.
I don't have the knowledge of gemstone dragons on the top of my head, but I do have a book on them, but it's back in my... He lowers his shoulders, back in my room in the monastery. And he looks at the carts. And he says, "You know, I've more or less taken up residence here. I might as well move my belongings here."
Oh, these carts would probably be really great to use. And you can use Lucy too if you need. She seems to like you.
Well, you can tell me about your adventures on the way if we can quickly go there and return. I'm curious about what you may have found.
We found a really crazy crevasse. It was filled with those bugs.
Sounds like their natural habitat.
Yeah, they were using the path that we went down to get here. We're going pretty fast.
Yeah, it seems the cult has like dug out a whole bypass.
Well, somebody, because remember we went past that like little town or something down there?
Yeah, they were kobolds and orcs, I think.
But everything was dead.
And had been for a long time.
For he's just sort of taking this in, and I'm going to assume that this is like on the way back to the monastery in the cart. And to give you guys a little bit of an idea of the speed of these things, it's almost like a car ride. It's definitely or not a car ride, but like a smooth horse trot as you're traveling down the road or up the road, up into the mountains, into the monastery, which isn't too far of a walk already. And in very little time, you find yourself already there. And you guys get out, and he says, "I'd be wary of any gemstone dragon. As I think about them, I'm reminded that they're mostly in it for themselves." As he walks up to the monastery, and oh dear, there's a mess here, much more than before. It's very run down. And he walks in through the halls. And he says, "Well, what else did you find?"
Well,
The person doing the armor, I can't remember her name.
Do you mean the genie lady, the Dao?
Yes.
Was that Yarsha? Or was Yarsha someone else?
Yarsha.
I'm looking up the name now. I don't know if you even asked for her name. But we can assume that you did. And the name you got was Zarvadim. I'm not familiar with her, says Renwick, as he just nonchalantly, or he just completely confidently walks through these ruined halls, and you guys get to the door that leads into his little space, and at this point his disguise is gone, and you can see the off-putting mummified tight knot skin against the skeletal structure of his face, him being a lich and all. And he does a couple of arcane gestures and opens the door, and you can see about 3 books on that little teleportation circle in his room. And he starts just grabbing piles of books.
I'll help him.
Helps too.
Where is Vox in this? So Vox can be in 2 places. She can be either here with the 2 gnomes and Renwick, or she can be drinking at the tavern with Tadias and Zachriel.
I'm at the tavern.
And I think Orna's with them too. Okay. So you're gathering stuff, and he's still like sort of prodding for more story about what you experienced. And I will say you can cast fill in if you'd like to. It's up to you. We can either play it out naturally, or you can say fill in.
I think we tell him about the battle we did and about Ironfang.
His eyes, his deadened eyes kind of light up at that. And we've got one of their weapons.
Tadias has that. It didn't disappear because I cast Dispel Magic, but it's getting weird looking.
We should hurry. I would like to look at it. And then he looks at Hum's, like, chest, because that's where Chan's chimes are. And he says, I don't believe I saw those on you the last time you were here before you went to the Earth Temple.
Well, I stole them from Ashwick. And, they kind of have some magic powers. When I ring them, they're really great against the air cultists.
Oh, you know what? Rook is there too. I should have mentioned that. Or I did mention that. I just forgot. He looks to Renwick, and he's already like. So I guess we have to play out the scene, or at least explain that he asked. He basically asks. He tries to ask Delia on the way there, like who this guy is. He says, "Hey Delia, who is this man?"
Oh, this is Renwick.
All right.
He's really cool and very powerful.
A powerful mage.
Yes.
That's makes sense. And he knows a lot about magic. He says, and I already said he drops his disguise. So when he says when he drops his disguise and turns into the obvious lich form, Rook turns to Delia and says, "Hey, he's undead."
Yeah, and?
What? Is he one of those lich things?
It's no biggie. Don't worry, Rook.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
Just be cool, man.
He says.
just be cool.
Renwick says in Gnomish. Renwick says in Gnomish. Oh, you don't need to worry. My condition is more of a predicament. I don't exactly want to be a lich, he says as he waggles. He makes like a little disguised eyebrow and waggles them for Rook's benefit. And Rook is just kind of like, alright. And then we move back to the scene where we're talking about the chimes, and then Rook pipes up and says, yes, those artifacts are pieces of the benevolent Archno-Elementals. And Renwick responds with, I had my suspicions. As you guys are taking loads of books and putting them onto the carts.
Oh, Ian Zachriel is kind of...
God.
Yeah.
Part God. Or he was a god. Or something like that.
He's an
No.
Rook says he's an Archnomental, or at least an Archnomental that is now immortal. I'm not sure how it works. And Renwick's eyes are just kind of like he seems very engaged because this is territory that he hasn't actually crossed. And he says, I haven't felt this invigorated since before I became a lich. I wish to know more about these things.
You know, adventuring is really fun, and we would love to have you.
Oh, I'm sure we would. And Hum like does that elbow thing to Delia.
Delia kind of blushes, but she looks very excited.
He strokes his chin and he says, I'll consider it. As you guys have finished with the loading of this cart, and there's almost not enough room for you to actually sit on the edge of like the guardrail of it. And he says, I think we're implementing this with its intended use, are we not?
I believe so. We could always just ride Lucy and have, the cart follow us.
He says, oh, someone needs to pilot it. It's no matter. And eventually you figure it out because we're not going to spend 5 minutes with that. And you guys start heading back. Who has the war pick? You said Tadias?
Nice.
Smash cut to me in the bar, popping something with it. Opening nuts with it.
Zachriel says, Tadias, I'm not sure you should be doing that.
Oh, right. I'm not supposed to be touching it. Sorry, it's been a long day. I put it back in the bag.
He just shoots a glance at Vox, and then he looks down at his arm, and then he takes another swig of whatever you guys are drinking. and eventually, you guys get back without any complications. And Renwick says, "Why don't you?" And then he says, "Oh, of course." He looks to Delia and Hum, and he says, I've they've given me a little place. We can all head there. And further discuss those artifacts you have." He looks very interested, and Delia, with his disguise back on, Delia can sense the wonder of it. Not like she doesn't see like a hunger for power. She just sees this look that she knows very well. This desire to learn.
Yes.
And gets there eventually, and Tadias, you feel a hand, a cold hand on your shoulder, just for a moment. And Renwick says, "You think you can quaff that? We can get a bottle and go back to my little hovel they've given me."
I see no reason we can't.
And Zachariel looks at Renwick, and then he quaffs his drink, puts it down. "Coming, Vox?"
Yes.
Orna says, "Can I be part of this convo?" And then Renwick looks at Delia and Hum. Do you trust this one?"
Yeah.
I didn't actually hear what your response was.
It was meh.
Oh.
A shrug. She was a member of the cult, but
"She smacked a priest," says
Yeah.
Zachariel. "Dang right I did. Those guys are... And then Orna tries to, like... Everyone can kind of tell that Orna is trying to get in good with you when she raises her glass and says, "To the end of the Earth Cult." And then drinks with no response. Puts it on the counter.
you know what? I'll drink to that.
Aha! And, we're just gonna assume that you got a glass, and clinks your glass. And eventually you all end up, in... So, you guys approach, with Lucy, this, shed. This stone-walled, metal-roofed shed on the edge over here. And
We're still on the other map.
Oh, thank you. This stone-walled, metal-ceilinged, roofed shed. And he says, I've made it a little bit more comfortable inside." And he steps in.
Hum turns to Lucy and she yells, "Lucy, stay!"
Yeah. And Lucy, like, squats and plants herself on the ground with a big thump.
She walks in.
And, not to be lame, but it's bigger on the inside.
I see what you did there.
I know. And it's actually a quaint little place. Big enough for about 20 people to sit comfortably. And Renwick already has like a desk set up, and he already had a bundle of stuff from his last home, and he starts putting stuff away. And then he walks back up and he starts loading stuff from the cart into the house. And Zachariel says, "Oh, I can help him. Tadias, let's help get this man all settled, or at least moved in." And about 20 minutes pass as you guys haul some books. And then as that's going on, Renwick looks to Tadias and says, "So you found one of their weapons, huh? Do you mind showing it to me?"
I mean, Inmore found us in the form of him attacking with us, but yes, I can show it to you. I pull the war pick from my bag and I kind of hand it to him in a just matter-of-fact way.
He just grabs it and he starts looking at it, inspecting it. "Let's give us a little bit more time." And then he closes his eyes, and then the dark fade of this thing goes away, and it's now shiny, solid metal again. Interesting. And then he puts it on his desk and sits down, and he says, Let me tinker with this for a minute or two." And then he just starts doing arcane gestures over it, and you can see a few sparks emit from it, and he flinches. Oh, well, not that.
Delia is watching eagerly.
And okay. And then he takes it and he lifts it up into the air, and then he moves it around, and then moves it back and sets it back down on the desk. "How much do you know of this?" he says, looking to Tadias and Delia.
I tell him what I can from the ritual that I did, but it was kind of hard to see things in it, honestly.
Right. This implement, I have an idea of what this is for, but... And then he kind of scrapes his bony fingers together, and then he sets it onto the desk, but like far away from him, and then he says, "May I see those chimes?"
Okay, I'm getting them back, right?
"You will, don't worry."
Oh, she hands them over.
Renwick starts doing the same exact thing. "Interesting."
Well, you know the shovel is magic too, right?
Zachariel kind of, would you like to hold Suni? Sure." A few minutes pass as he just looks at these artifact items, these campaign driving items, and he hands the chimes back, and he hands the spade back, and he says, "So Chan's chimes and Suni's spade are both... They contain the identity of those two archnementals, along with a piece of their essence. But Ironfang," he looks over it, and it's just sitting down on the desk, "it has part of Ogremok, but it doesn't have any of his identity, and the effect that it has on the weave. This implement acts as a link that Ogremok can use to influence the material plane, thus the curse attached to it. And under the right circumstances in the right place, it can allow him to travel through a portal into the material plane." And Rook
Good.
Rook just gives a little gasp as they're all translating for him. "That makes sense. That's how they, that must be how they want to bring them in." "But I have some good news. Says Renwick, as he manipulates the pick in his hand. "But you were about to say something, Tadias. What was it?" No? Were you about to say something, Miles?
Oh, no, you're good.
Okay. He says, normally the stronger an elemental fiend or celestial is, an extraplanar creature is, the more of the weave you must pull apart to allow them to transfer to a different plane of existence. A link such as this would certainly assist, but there's a compromise. He says, while this thing is in proximity to whatever portal they may have created for Orgrimmar to enter through, if it were to touch the entryway through which the Arcnomental would go through, it would collapse the entire thing. It would destroy the portal. And then Renwick looks pointedly at Delia. And then to the rest of the party.
That
Was
sounds like
it-
what we should do.
Was it the Earth Temple that... Did we go down those stairs?
You did not.
Or was that a different... Okay. Yes, we should do that.
If it's what needs to be done.
They're probably gonna have to do that for all the other cultists, too. Says Rook. At least it's clear what you have to do now, says Rook.
I like knowing what I have to do. Makes it easier to do it not sober.
That means we have to take these weapons from these... They call themselves prophets, says Zachriel. And then chuck them into a portal somewhere.
Hmm.
They're probably in the nodes. It's where the cults get their power. It's where they got them the last time this happened. I'll have to travel further below. Renwick then hands or like offers the pick handle first, not handle first, but like it's just an object to hand over to Tadias.
Should I not be holding it like they told me to?
Well, you can put it back in your pack.
Alright. I put it back in the bag.
I'm glad you brought this to me, says Renwick.
You're a useful ally. If something wrong happens to us, I imagine you'll deal with it eventually.
Suppose it's the least I can do. He sighs. And then he kind of looks. He has a distant look. And you hear Orna say, I don't want to go anywhere near... Or I don't want to go anywhere near these cultists again. I'm not sure I'll be able to come with you. But she looks at Zachariel and says, "You said you had a job for me." Yes. We'll discuss that after we figure out what we're going to do next. Should we decide that now or perhaps tomorrow? He says to the party.
Well, I think it's pretty clear that we should be going after the prophets next, right?
Well, yeah, but I mean, do we need to go back to Forstride to check on Gordon, or what do you think?
Should we take care of the portal in the Earth Temple down those stairs? Or at least check if the portal is down those stairs?
Well, I can tell you that the portal's not directly down those stairs, and I'm not sure how to get further below. We'd have the area, or the system, the complex below, he says this in quotes, below the temple. It's a bit of a nexus where all the cult's temples join up with. And I know that near these stairs, there'll probably be creatures waiting. Just something to keep in mind.
Hmm.
There's always a creature waiting.
Well, when you're dealing with elementals, when they're near the when they're near incursions to the elemental planes, they seem to pop up everywhere. Renrick says, "Why don't you all sleep on it? What exactly you'll do, unless you're already decided."
Sleeping might be wise. It's been a long day.
It really has.
It really has.
He says, "Well, you can either crash here, or take a room at the inn. But you're welcome." He gestures to just the small, quaint studio apartment, essentially, that he has invited you into. And I don't think we'll worry about that detail, as we will end the production of the session here. Good night, Joy.
Night, Joy.
Good night, Joy.